Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 62 of Be With Me. Today we're going to talk about spiritual, quote unquote, waiting. And by that, I mean the time in between when, quote unquote, something significant happens. And the bottom line is we need to be ready and we need to be readying in this so-called in-between time. So we're going to get that lesson from Saul, who's, one of the greatest Christians of all time, maybe the most important human being that ever lived. And today we're going to come across two massive periods of time where nothing of significance happened. Of course, that's, can't be true. Anyway, so here's the thing. He's persecuting the church. He's on the road to Damascus. It's 33 or 34 AD. A bright light happens. Jesus comes to him. He speaks to him, blinds him. Ananias comes, scales fall off his eyes, and he's welcomed into the Christian church. He does some things immediately. He proclaims Jesus. He gets baptized. But then it says, when many days passed. And how long is that? Well, he goes... They start to try to find him. They let him through the wall. He goes to the Arabian desert for 3 years. So he's prepared by 3 years, and maybe even in Galatians it says, "I would have you know, brothers, that the gospel that was preached to me is not man's gospel, for I did not receive it from any man, nor was I taught it, but I received it through a revelation of Jesus Christ." And he does that for 3 years. Now, I don't know if that means that Jesus spoke to him personally or used some of the Old Testament writings and found the Lord, or exactly how he was discipled by the Lord. But anyway, it sounds pretty cool. And the point is, he's preparing during that period of time. So here we comes to today's passage. This is 3 years after his conversion, verse 26 of Acts chapter 9. And when he had come, this is Saul, still called Saul, come to Jerusalem, he attempted and failed to join the disciples. Why? So this is 3 years after his conversions, because they were all afraid of him, for they did not believe that he was a disciple, even 3 years later. But he's new to Jerusalem. And then here's our hero of Acts chapter 4 comes into the story, verse 27. But Barnabas, remember Barnabas, his name is Joe, actually Joseph, but he was such an encourager, they called him the son of encouragement instead of just calling him Joe. So now he has the solid name. They don't even mention his name Joe here. But Barnabas took him because Barnabas is brave and Barnabas has courage. So Barnabas takes him to the disciples, brought him to the apostles, and declared to them how on the road he had seen the Lord, who spoke to him, and how at Damascus he had preached boldly in the name of Jesus. So apparently Barnabas's affirmation is all the other apostles need. And then here we go. So he went in and out among them, the other remaining apostles, preaching boldly in the name of the Lord. Now, most of the apostles, this is 3 years after Jesus has been resurrected, or maybe even 4. So only Cephas and Peter and James, the brother of Jesus, were still in Jerusalem. The rest had gone away. Saul tells us in Galatians that he's there for 15 days and then moves on. So here, let's find out why he moves on. And he spoke and disputed against the Hellenists, the Greek Jews, but they were seeking to kill him. So Saul used to kill people. Now people are trying to kill him in two different nations now. One was in Syria, Damascus. So he goes to Jerusalem, and now they found they want to kill him in Jerusalem too. And when the brothers learned this, they brought him down to Caesarea on the coast and sent him off to Tarsus, probably in a boat. That's the best way to go. It's 300 miles or so. So you don't want to walk that if you can possibly help it. But here's the thing about Tarsus. It's his hometown. And scholars think that he's there for either somewhere between 4 and 10 years. So add that up. That's 7 to 14 years where Saul doesn't do his missionary journeys and doesn't do his big job. Now, he was told at the time of his unblinding that he was going to be a witness to everyone and that he was going to carry the name of Jesus to the Gentiles and to kings. And here he is, hunted, and you could say even sidelined. In fact, he's sent to his hometown, Tarsus, has to go live with his mommy and daddy again. The point here is there's a delay between this call and this consummation of the call, just like there was with Abraham, just like there was with Moses. And watch God. This is how he changes the world. It's in this in-between time of preparation and being ready. It's like smoking meat. I got a smoker a couple years ago, and my experience with meat was generally you cook it either in minutes or maybe an hour. Well, if you get a smoker, your time changes, and suddenly you're on the slow boat where sometimes meat stalls and then it has to release, and sometimes literally it takes all night long to do it. And meat, where it used to be 12 minutes, now it's 12 hours. The point here is it's many days why the Lord percolates through us and prepares us. And so here's the take-home point is there a delay, or do you feel like you are in an in-between time? Like, Lord, maybe this doesn't feel like what you ultimately have me for. Well, here's the thing. Prepare, entrust, be faithful in this quote-unquote waiting time, and that is be ready at a moment's notice, which may be 14 years down the road, and be readying. In the meantime, bloom where you're planted. This idea of Christian waiting or spiritual waiting is all through the Bible, both in the Old Testament and here in the New Testament. So these some days that is described turns out to be years, and at least 7 years, and maybe even 14 years before he leaves the wilderness of Arabia, the discipleship of the Lord, the visitation to Jerusalem for 15 days, and then the being sent home for 4 to 10 years. So if you're in a spiritual waiting period, you are in good company. Be preparing, be ready, and be readying. Thanks for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.